The most wanted, the hottest property out there in the summer transfer window. It's going to get hot and steamy in here. We're going to go through every position and we're going to decide who is the hottest property. Ederson, Mabarashvili. Those are the two nominees. Let's start off with Ederson. What I will say in terms of bit of heat here, different kinds of heat, but what I will say is with Ederson, I did not see a world where I was even going to be talking about him this summer.
Yeah.
I get he's 30. Is it one where when you win everything so regularly, there's like, are they just sort of chucking out like, oh, well, he might be bored?
I feel like that's what happened with De Bruyne recently. Like all of a sudden, there's just some De Bruyne rumors.
More on him later.
Yeah, definitely. But it's like, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, it's so weird. Look, first of all, let me make this very clear. If you don't know already, I'm not the biggest fan of goalkeepers.
Okay.
For me, they basically play a different sport as far as I'm concerned, right? So in terms of heat, in terms of how excited I am by a goalkeeper, it's very difficult to get me off my feet. Like I respect the job they do, but like especially one like Ederson going to Saudi, I don't know.
Al Nassr is obviously kept 120 Premier League clean sheets in 7 seasons. I think there could be an element of him being slightly bored.
Like there's nothing for him really to accomplish unless he stays at Man City and continues accomplishing more. Like anything else, if he's not getting a financial incentive, is like a step down for no real reason. So I think if there is any, like you said, if there is any reason for Ederson to leave, it's for an improvement on life in terms of just a massive pay rise.
Mamadashvili, 23, as we said, brilliant for Georgia. Prevented the most goals in the Euros, 4.67. Was in the right team for that, I would say, because they did. I mean, they were the best team to watch because they gave you an opportunity, but gave it a go as well. How big of a thing is it the being good with your feet thing?
I mean, I look at Liverpool, right? Like Alisson is for me. If he's not the best goalkeeper in the world the last 5 years, he's number 2, maybe behind Courtois, but he's up there. Alisson is not spectacular with his feet. If anything, I would probably say that might be even a weakness to his game, and it's still not noticeable enough that you say, oh, it's not like De Gea, for example. But he's a very able goalkeeper, very solid, never makes mistakes, and he can play out from the back at an acceptable level. I think that's the bare minimum, and I think Mamadashvili can do that for a lot of clubs, in my opinion.
Totally agree. I think he's got that. He's more a Courtois guy. Yeah. No one's questioning Courtois.
He's been very good for Valencia by the last few seasons. I know Georgia was kind of like the coming out party to the public, but he's been very good for Valencia the last few seasons.
Totally. So I think Mamadashvili, you agreed? He's the hotter one here
definitely.
On the Scoville scale. I'm going to give him a. I think I just keep it calm here. Maybe a Serrano for me.
I'm giving him a Chipotle, man. I'm telling you, goalkeepers for me, don't get me off my seat. I'll give him a Chipotle.
Like this. Okay, we got the Scoville. Let's go back in. Amazing. Just a 15,000 on the Scoville. I don't even know what that means. Anyway, Scoville units. Right, let's get past the goalkeepers, for God's sake. Jeremy Frimpong, we're going right back. 23, market value 42 million. That's 50 million euros when it comes to transfer market. That's generally the sort of sensible one they'll chuck out there. Contract till 2028. Clubs linked to Man United and Liverpool. 9 goals and 7 assists for Leverkusen in the Bundesliga last season. Had a £35 million release clause, which expired last week. So he's going to be a bit more pricey.
Wow, I'm surprised no one went in for him for that price.
I find that odd. Yeah.
It also makes me think he's not going anywhere if no one was willing to pay 35 million for him.
Yeah.
He's rapid. He's a huge goal threat, but he's not really a right back. He's playing as a right winger at times. Like he is very, very forward thinking. And I think he's offered a lot of protection in the Leverkusen system, and more power to him, right? If you're effective in that kind of role, why not recreate that kind of scenario to make him effective for your team? So if you can create a scenario where Frimpong is playing that role for your team, then absolutely go buy him. But I think the thing is, if you're looking for a specific kind of player, make sure that guy isn't Frimpong, basically. Like if you're looking, for example, Liverpool, right? I'm sure we're going to talk about him. But if Trent leaves tomorrow, Frimpong cannot be the like-for-like replacement for Trent. Let's get that out of the way here.
Yeah. So, so that leads us perfectly to our second option here, which is Trent Alexander-Arnold, which, again, I know Liverpool fans listen to this and be like, for f***'s sake, James, just shut up about Trent leaving. But I can't, because it is fascinating.
And you shouldn't either.
It's so hot right now. Yep. And, I'm going to say that several times during this video, and I want to talk about it again.
How hot is it?
That's the real one. Where does it sit on the Scoville?
Is it pure cap?
No one knows what that means. Pure cap. 60 mil on the Scoville units. I think this is the winner here. I think it's Trent because it's not. We're living. We're having a bit of fun, guys. Can we just relax, everyone?
This is hot. This is a hot one. Yeah.
here we go. Retweets on this bad boy.
Oh my!
In a
God.
Real Madrid shirt.
Oh my God! I think most of them would be from United fans, to be honest with you.
This would be wild.
Yeah.
25, market value 60 million.
And I think that's only because he has a year left on his contract.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Contract 2025. You know, he's a Scouser, isn't he? The one club I think he would go to,
is Madrid.
is Madrid.
Yeah. I think this is a lot
It's a short
more
career.
realistic than a lot of people are willing to give it credit for. Honestly, I think a lot of people now, like, it hasn't really hit its max level of hype yet because it's still kind of like, most people are expecting him to sign. But I actually think the chance that he leaves and goes to Real Madrid is a lot higher than people expect.
I bet it's on his mind.
No, 100%, 1,000%, right?
If they've been very clear with their desire to have him, because you look at that Real Madrid team and there is a spot there
Right.
waiting for him. So we're going. I think we're going. I mean, let's.
For me,
right, come on, bro.
this is pepper spray.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this is pepper spray, man. Yeah, this is a huge one.
Okay, I think. This is pure cap for me, man.
It might be pure cap.
I don't think you go past this.
I think I'm leaving pure cap just because there might be something better.
This summer as well. I think to get hotter than this.
Let me ask you this: what is because that's another thing too, right? If Trent decides this summer, I'm not going to sign a new contract, but I want. So now Liverpool basically they don't want to lose him for free. Let's sell him this summer. How much do you get for Trent with a year left on your contract?
I think 70. Centre backs. Jared Branthwaite is 22. I love this. This is so good. So Kai's written this down. Kai's an Everton fan. Market value says is 35 million according to Transfer Market. Contract 20 till 2027. Would likely to be given a new deal soon as well if he were to sign it. Obviously linked with Man United. Aerial success rate last season was brilliant, 68.6. Very, very strong. And this is the bar from Kai. £70 million. Full stop. The price is £70 million. Okay. Very clear on that. Man United's interest has arguably made him more valuable if Everton keep hold of him and he has another good season. The failed takeover at Everton apparently does not mean that Everton need to sell
I think
at the
Onana
time
was
of
the big one.
recording. I will say that. They want a big bid for him. And so the other nominee that we've got three for this one.
Ooh.
We've got Murillo,
I like
21-year-old. Yes.
Forrest, right?
Yep.
Baller.
Top 2% for successful take-ons.
Yeah, he's
so fun to watch.
He's adventurous, man.
Yeah. And Mark Gay as well,
Good player.
who's been linked with Liverpool. Murillo linked with Chelsea, Man United, and Liverpool. And as you said, Branthwaite linked with Man United as well.
Murillo is just a wild card, man. Honestly, like every time I watch him, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I've never been. I can't remember the last center back I've been like this excited by. Like he's so unorthodox.
He's so unorthodox.
Yeah.
He's chunky.
Yeah. No, honestly, the way he plays is hilarious, but I love it.
If Chelsea do get him, a little ripple effect for you, where does that leave Fofana, Chalobah, and Disasi, also right?
Hey, Batty has Shield too on. Okay, yeah. I guess
Sorry, on the right.
No, he's more on the left. Chelsea are just a weird one of center backs. I feel every summer they bring a new one, and then every summer they
just signed out of Rabaya as well.
And now Chalobah's on the way out. They just got rid of Malak. Like every summer, it's just another center back comes in the club. Like when are you gonna start looking at your attack? And for me, creativity was a big issue for Chelsea the last few seasons. What's the solution? Let's go and buy another center back. For me, I don't know. I don't follow Chelsea as strongly as obviously my club, but as an outsider, it's a bit peculiar for me.
Murillo, if you brought another one, I mean, hot but confusing.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
would say.
It's like the, you bite into the pepper, like
Sour.
It's
some-
tangy.
it's
tangy.
tangy. It's
Yeah,
tangy.
yeah.
It's a tangy one.
Yeah.
Is it hot? I'm not sure.
Is it a Thai? Is it a Thai pepper? Is that what we're going for this one?
Yeah. Mark Gay has shown that he's the smart,
He's
impressive
stable. Yep.
player. The one thing I think we know Mark Gay. Everyone listening to this knows what he's about, and that he would be a really good signing, an exciting one. I think the hottest one is Branthwaite because I think in terms of like the noise, one you're going to ask for a lot of money, and two that will follow him round.
Yeah, for sure.
Whereas Gay, I think he's proven something there. And I think Branthwaite's great. I think he's amazing.
Very good
and
talent.
left-footed, I think, which is very,
Can
very
play on the right
useful.
as well too. Can play right center back.
Yeah. But to have that, left foot at least,
modern day center.
yeah,
back for
is
sure.
good. And PSV played passing. He was passing a lot more in a team that had a lot of possession. So I'm going to go with Branthwaite.
Yep.
I'm going to give him. I think it's hot enough. I'm going to go cayenne pepper, personally.
Cayenne pepper. Let me go. I'm going to go with... You know what? I agree with you. I'm going cayenne pepper as well, too. I was going to maybe give it a Dearbol, but I'm going to give it a cayenne pepper.
Do you know what, as I scroll past Murillo, I feel sorry for him. You know, he's got that spice to him.
Yeah, he does.
You know, he's been let down.
He might be a red Savina.
Left back. Ferdi Kadioglu, video on the channel right now if you want to go check that out.
Check that
10 positions? That seems like a lot. I'd like to hear more. Click on it. Linked to Man United or Dortmund. Created 10 big chances for Fenerbahce last season. Right-footed left-back, but can play pretty much everywhere. And João Cancelo. 2 different players here, 30-year-old. In terms of a hot, steamy bargain, Cancelo is interesting. He was everyone's like, I told you, didn't I? I told you Cancelo was the guy.
I was one of them.
He's the best.
I went viral with Cancelo, man.
Did you?
Yeah, I had this clip based on SDS. One of my first clips. It went crazy because it's funny. I was basically on there saying like, he wears the number 7. He's a right back that plays on the left. He's got the Trivella. He's got the skills. What's not the leg? That was my whole thing. What's not the leg?
Yeah.
And I said he's better than Trent. He's better than Reece James.
Yeah, a lot of that.
The same weekend, 2 days later, he had that error against Liverpool where like he miscontrolled the ball. Salah went through and they scored. I got ripped apart so much, and I actually feel like I cursed him because from that moment on, Cancelo has never.
That season he was gone, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, he went in January. I feel like I cursed him, but I was so high on Cancelo, and like the thing is, he's still a very good player. I saw him at Portugal. I thought he was actually one of their better performers.
Yeah,
he hasn't lost his creativity.
Played terribly at Barcelona.
He's been okay for. I think the thing with Cancelo now that we all just have to accept, he's an optional defender. That's the way I want to describe him. He's an optional defender. He
That's
chooses
a new
when he wants
one.
to
I've
defend.
not heard that
He's
one.
an optional defender.
Right.
He's very creative, but he's not Trent per se, right? He's not like a chance creating machine per minute, but he's very skillful, good with both feet.
Could he go to a sort of lesser side, but be like, oh my God, I can't believe we've got him here? He stinks of Serie A for me.
But he's been there. He played for Juve and Inter. He's been at Juve, Inter, Bayern, Barcelona, Manchester City, Valencia.
Yeah.
Where else is there to go?
Yeah. So who do you want to go for? Who's hottest? Who's the most wanted? Kadioglu.
I think Kadioglu gives you like that unpredictability. I think it's like the unknown is appealing. Cancelo, I feel like we know what we're getting with him at this point, and like it's not the same feeling like when he was at City. Like we were looking at a guy. Oh, if you get Cancelo, you're getting one of the. I feel like Cancelo now. It's like. We've been there, done that. I'm gonna go with Kadioglu.
I'm okay with that, but yeah, I'm not outrageously feeling the spice on either of these. We're gonna go very simple here. It's just gonna be a simple ancho for both. Actually, I'll give it Chipotle.
You got an ancho.
I'm gonna go Chipotle for Kadioglu because he could fix a load of things.
I'll meet you halfway. I'll go jalapeno.
Nice.
Meet you halfway.
Good luck, Finn, editing this. Right, now into midfield. João Neves. This is a DM position. Market value £46 million. Contract till 2028 at Benfica. Linked with PSG heavily. Could be a ripple effect of that from him going to PSG to Ugarte going to Manchester United, who is also similar in the sense that he's sort of a combative midfielder and both kind of not enormous, I guess, in size.
Yeah.
And then you got N'Golo Kante linked with West Ham.
The most random transfer.
I love it. Come on, West Ham, just scoop up all.
And
all
N'Golo
the older
Kante for
dudes.
West Ham would make me laugh, man. That's so random.
This is a good one because again we've got 2 players at different ends of the scale. 33-year-old up against a 19-year-old when we're talking about spice. And here we go, retweets from Romano. Average 3.7 tackles and interceptions in the Saudi League last season. I think more importantly we were kind of looking at him at the Euros and we're like, ooh, I think it was the Austria game.
Yeah.
You're like, against a team that's coming with energy.
He showed you like you
and he
got
still
it.
had it. Yeah. To get him back in the Premier League, look, I love João Neves. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah.
But him to PSG, okay. So the decision here becomes: is it more about like an impactful signing, or just like, just love that signing? Do you know what I mean? What do you think?
I think it's got to be Neves, man. I think Kante. I love Kante, brilliant player. But for me, Kante, the issue was never is he a worse player than he was before. It was always like his fitness. That was the issue at Chelsea. When he played, he was great. But I don't know. Can you keep that guy fit? And really, for West Ham, it would be a fun story. But is that really what they kind of want to be going towards? Like a guy who's coming towards the end of his career. You can't really rely on his fitness. It's a weird one. I think João Neves, that for me is interesting. Because you look at the talent that kid possesses. Can he kind of add in? It'd be interesting though seeing him with Vitinha because I almost feel like they're a bit similar in some way. I feel okay. He's a bit more combative, but like they are neat players. They're tidy in possession. Like neither of them are really giving you some kind of like defensive powerhouse in there, and they're not really like chance creating machines. I do feel like they're a bit similar in that sense, but very tidy player, man.
We had Joe from Scouting Football, and I asked him, we're going to be doing a pod about Bellingham. Who's his guy over the next 15 years? Who's alongside him? And he said Zaire Emery. And so, but my point with Zaire Emery was that like he's good.
Yeah,
So
no, he's
like
very
with
good.
João Neves coming in,
Yeah.
you got those two for a decade.
Yeah.
That is
PSG, yeah.
it's pretty high on the Scoville scale.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. We go with João Neves for that one. Where you putting him?
I'm putting him at Red Savina.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
I was going to go Habanero. I think you're right. I'm going to go with you. Red Savina.
Red Savina. That sounds very exotic, by the way. Red
Does,
Savina.
doesn't it? Sounds
like a wine.
Painful. Right, centre midfield. Kevin De Bruyne, 33.
Yeah.
Market value still at 42 mil. Al Ittihad have been linked with him, created 21 big chances in 15 Premier League starts last season. If he leaves, would it trigger a few transfer market ripples? Man City could then go for Olmo. The other nominee, obviously we haven't spoken about KDB properly yet, but we will do, because I think Abir Eze, the second nominee here, 26, contract till 2027.
That's
I think
your boy, right?
he's got... we've got a sell-on clause as well.
Can you afford him? Bring him back? 60 million. What's QVR's finances saying?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, he could own the club then. I think he's got a 60 mil release clause.
Yeah.
It could be part of a KDB ripple as well. I think it's between Olmo and him. And look, I think Eze would have a lot of fun there. I think it would be interesting. Like, would you lose him a little bit? We spoke about that in a lot of detail last week.
I wouldn't want to see Eze go to City.
Yeah, I don't think anyone seems to.
No, not even from a competitive point of view, but like the kind of player he is, I think he would lose a bit of like that like excitement. Like he'd win a lot and he'd be much more effective and efficient. But the way I enjoy watching Eze, I don't know if I would still gain that excitement watching him at City.
I think what you lose is, so overall he'd have more touches.
Yeah, he'd score more goals, he'd get more assists. I get that.
But every time he touched the ball, he'd have less touches within that. So it would go from having 5 touches every time he receives the ball to 2, and he's just so gorgeous when he glides 100%. Past players. I just don't want to lose that. But Kevin De Bruyne, do you think? Yeah, how do you feel about him? Created 21 big chances in 15 Premier League starts last season, but is he waning somewhat? And at what point does he dip below a sort of a physical level that you've got to kind of let him go?
I think already he's approaching the physical wane. The injuries, the age, like we were saying, right? He's a player that plays with such intensity, and the way he carries the ball and the aggression that he plays with, that eventually is going to take a taxing on your body. And I think we already started seeing that. In
terms of heat, right? Because what I would say is really important is I think you lose 10% of Haaland when De Bruyne's gone.
1,000%.
So it's one of those chilies where you'll have a bite and you go, this is fine, and then it's going to whack you in the face.
That's a really good point. I completely forgot about that. I actually think Erling Haaland almost like awoke himself in the second half of the season when De Bruyne came, because you often look at Haaland, right? There's always this argument, does City make him worse? Well, no, they don't, because he scores 50 goals a season for them. But is there a better way to use Erling Haaland than Man City have in the past? Perhaps, because I see this guy make so many runs in behind and so many brilliant runs that a Bernardo Silva will look up, see him, and play it sideways. A Foden will look up, see him, play it sideways. Kovacic. De Bruyne is really that guy that he sees that run without even looking up, and he's just playing those balls into dangerous areas. So yeah, I think that's a great point. I completely forgot about that.
Oh God, is that because you went pepper spray, didn't you? With who did you get pepper spray with? Oh, Trent.
Yeah, Trent.
Is this above?
It's not. Because I think just because De Bruyne is coming toward the end of his career, I'm gonna
Carolina
give
Reaper for me.
Carolina Reaper, yeah. I'm gonna give him that. Just a little below.
That's the first time that scales felt right.
Yeah.
Right, let's go. The two nominees here. I'll go backwards. First of all, Florian Wirtz. We know he's good. Market value 110 mil.
Yep.
He's 21, contract to 2027. No links as of yet. 11 goals, 11 assists. Good Euros for him as well. But you feel like with a Bayer Leverkusen, we kind of touched on it earlier, like maybe is it one more year, and it's like, because it would be a shock if he did go anywhere, and it would cost a lot 100%. As well.
Yeah.
The second nominee is the player that he's good, but is he good? João Felix. 24.
That's the greatest. He's good, but is he good ever?
Oh, mate, by a mile.
That title was made for him.
Totally. So, talk to me. What is he? Is he good? Where does he play? Who should he play for?
I don't know, man. I don't know. He's so talented.
Talented.
I know he's talented, but like does he impact winning football games? And I'm big on that, right? Because I see a lot of people these days talk about GA, goals, assists, goals win you games. That's not my priority when looking at a player. I look at players and I'm like, how do you contribute to winning for your team? And that I don't need goals to
you can be Giroud.
100%. If you contribute to your team winning in games, you are valuable to your team. And that's my issue with Joao Felix. Does he contribute to winning football games? Like, he looks very nice on the eye. He does things that kind of get you off your seat. You enjoy watching him. But at the end of the game, is his net value to a performance enough to justify his talent for his price tag? Every year I watch him, I'm becoming less and less certain that that's the case.
Florian Wirtz, do you think that would be God most wanted? 2, big money.
Yeah.
3, a bit of a shock and a game changer for any team that gets him?
1,000% on
is it only Man City or Bayern?
Maybe even Real Madrid. I think he might be looking at not Ancelotti, Alonso, and being like, wherever you go, can you take me with you?
Yeah, maybe you just...
I don't know where he fits out at Real Madrid, but he's one of those players, right? You talk about system proof. Like, I feel like a guy like Musiala, obviously everyone would want him, but there's some teams that like that kind of role is already taken. Like, where does Musiala fit in at Real Madrid, where like the left-hand side is so dominated by Vinny, now Mbappe, Jude kind of plays off the left. But of Wirtz, I feel like, although I prefer Musiala and I think he's more talented, I feel like Wirtz fits a lot more teams. Like, he can kind of just go into any team and be great.
Yeah,
like, he needs less of the ball, right? Like, Musiala is a ball-dominant player. So I think any team would love a Florian Wirtz, but I definitely think he stays at Leverkusen this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so by default, I think Joao Felix. And if he went to Villa and they bought him, that is kind of spicy.
It's spicy, man. It's like one of those ones. For me, I know we're going to talk about him, but it reminds me of like when Everton got James. And it's like, let's see what happens. Like, hey, if it works out, we're going to be entertained. If not, see you in 6 months.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go for a Diabo.
I was just about to say Diabo. It's like, it's on the edge, right? Like, we'll see.
Okay, onto the right wing position. I'm going to give you 3 options here. One is James Rodriguez. 33, market value 3 mil. He has just left Sao Paulo. His contract has been terminated. Allegedly, he wants to come back to Europe. Was amazing in Copa America. Did you see any of it?
Yeah, amazing. I had to step late. Bags under my eyes, but yeah, brilliant. I think for him, it's important, like, what club in Europe can still offer you that kind of structure where you can just kind of do your thing?
Yeah, that can facilitate a luxury player. You're right.
He's a luxury player. That's the perfect way to describe him.
Yeah. So he's 33. The other options are Takefusa Kubo, who's 23, market value £42 million.
He's techie, man.
Yes, I like him.
Yeah.
2029 his contract goes up to, and he has been linked with Liverpool. 7 goals, 4 assists for Sociedad last season. I remember him really tearing up Real Madrid.
Yeah. Nah, he's so technically gifted. But I don't know Liverpool for me. If Salah's there, first of all, that's a massive change up from Salah. They are like worlds apart as players. Like, one is just a production machine that maybe his like overall game is kind of starting to dwindle, but he still offers you 20 goals a season. Whereas Kubo is extremely gifted, loves taking on his men, very technically secure, but output-wise, I think he had 1 goal post in the second half of the season last year. Like, you're definitely taking a hit production-wise. Yeah, so I don't know. Is that the direction Liverpool want to go in? If they keep Salah, they don't even need him.
A final nominee, Rodrigo, 23.
Ooh.
A player that Liez is keen to discuss.
But you know what it is? I'm not keen to discuss him on the right. I'm keen to discuss him on the left because I actually think that's Rodrigo's best position.
Wow.
I think Rodrigo, obviously, he does a role on the right. I mean, look, he's been part of 2 Champions League winning teams playing in that role. But I truly believe, and you see it sometimes for Real Madrid, especially this last season when Vinicius kind of left the team through injury and he was given that more left-hand sided role, his production exploded. The way he's able to facilitate exploded because he's not really a touchline winger. He is a guy that likes to come in off the left and drift inside. And sometimes even for Brazil, he's taking up number 10 areas. Rodrigo, in my opinion, is one of those players that is waiting to explode. Like, really? Honestly, I think he's on the verge of superstardom. I think when we talk about the best players in the world, I genuinely think he possesses the same level of talent and potential that they do, but he just hasn't had the chance to do it in his favorite role because he plays on the same team as arguably the best left winger on the planet. I'm looking at a team like Arsenal. I'm looking at a team like City. I'm looking at a team like Liverpool. Those kinds of teams, or anybody who needs a left-sided player, I think there's an opportunity with Rodrigo to get him for maybe 60, 70 million pounds, but the return is a 100 million plus pound player. I really believe that.
You think they can get him for 60 mil?
Look, I think...
So his contract's till 2028, or in 2024. Yeah, I think it's those. It's those big clubs.
Wait,
right at the
what
top
is
of
it?
the
It ends
Prem.
at 2028. You said
2028.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got a bit of time there. From
maybe
their
not
point of
60
view.
then. Maybe you're looking at 70, 80. Maybe. Yeah.
I think he's the hottest one here, isn't he?
Yeah.
Rodrigo.
I'm giving
What
this
are you giving him?
pure cap.
You're giving him pure
Pure
cap?
capsation.
Wow.
Yeah. No, I think this is one that like we look at when it happens, and a year later we're like, wow.
I'm giving pepper spray.
Woo!
Pepper spray. I can't get away from Trent. If Trent leaves, I think that's
the one.
Seismic.
Interesting.
Both sides of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because Real Madrid, that team looks a joke. then,
Incredible.
and it's already looking
Incredible.
like a joke. Right, left wing. Jadon Sancho.
Mm.
So at the time of recording, has not left the club.
Not yet.
4.85 shot creating actions per 90 at Dortmund last season. His highest return since his previous spell at Dortmund. Second nominee, Crescencio Somerville, 22. Obviously playing in the Championship last season. Linked with several clubs, West Ham, Brighton, Fulham, Leeds kind of need to sell. He was the player of the EFL last year, 19 goals, 9 assists, 17 big chances. He's got great teeth as well. And those are the two nominees for the left-wing position. Now, I know you wanted Rodrigo over there, but we've done that now.
Yeah.
Look, Somerville's a good, solid, clever buy
I
for a
was gonna say
22-year-old.
those linked clubs though didn't really like fill me with much excitement.
I think Sancho's the spicy one. Yeah, we don't need to mess about it.
That's
Let's be
the
honest.
one, right? Yeah. I don't think he's gonna stay at United. I think, like we kind of talked about in the previous podcast, I think that peace offering between the two of them is simply to kind of repair the image
Let's
of
get
both
this
Ten
done.
Hag, United,
Yeah.
and Sancho, get him back in training, and kind of like, it's like you're trying to sell a pencil, right? But if the pencil, the tip is broken, the eraser is worn out, there's scratches in the paint, no one's gonna want to buy the pencil. You gotta kind of like
sharpen it
yeah,
up.
you gotta
Put it in the
sharpen it up,
sharpener, right?
add a new eraser, and now all of a sudden the market value of the pencil goes up to $1. Before it was 50 cents.
His market value is currently 25 mil on transfer market. Now, again, that might be sensible. He's 24. You've still got a lot on your contract, and I think 25 is slightly harsh, obviously, for the amount that he went. Say you get 40, like you say.
Yeah.
The question I would say what I would go to Sancho and go, that's your market value. I want to know what this is going to be like in May. Like, how good can you be?
Yeah.
I would give him, Chipotle, cayenne pepper. I'm going to go bump him up.
Cayenne pepper.
Okay. And the striker position, this is juicy. And I didn't expect to read this name, but I think it's a good one. Victor Osimhen. Good God, we've spoken about him for a very long time. 90 career league goals in 141 starts. PSG are seemingly going all out for Osimhen, who actually has played in France before for Lille, and he was excellent. His market value is 84 million, and he's up against, for the most wanted 11, I'm surprised to say this, Richarlison. 27 million market value, 32 million. Contract till 2027. Linked to Saudi somewhere, guys written. Scoring frequency of 137 minutes last season, which is solid, actually. He had a really good little purple patch, didn't he, in sort of January when Son was away. And he played as a central striker. It's been linked with a move to Saudi, with the fee being reported around 60 million. If you're Tottenham, surely you have to take that amount of money.
They said 60 million.
Apparently.
They'd recoup everything they got from him then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Richarlison's a good player. I think sometimes he's overhated. Obviously, his first season at Spurs wasn't great, but Richarlison has scored goals pretty much everywhere he's been.
He was great at Everton.
Yeah, really good at Watford too. He's a handful, honestly.
He's
one
got
of
to
those
play
players,
through the middle, though.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, that I completely agree with, and I think maybe that hurt him in the first season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it kind of goes back to what you were saying about the Saudi thing. Like, is how impactful really is that? Like, even for Spurs losing Richarlison, like, maybe, okay, they get 60 million to go spend on somebody else, I guess. The Osimhen one is really intriguing. And I don't know, PSG, right? Like, this is where, like, I like some things that PSG do, but then I don't understand. Like, they just spent 80 million on Gonzalo Ramos. They spent big money on Kolo Muani. And the solution is to go buy another center forward. I almost felt like this is one that Arsenal should have kind of been all over in terms of, like, he's very different to what Arsenal have been building the last few seasons, but I feel like that difference is kind of good. Like, it's an X factor that they don't currently possess.
Chelsea would work really well.
Yeah.
Especially under Maresca.
Yeah.
He'd stay in the middle of the pitch. He'd stretch it as much as he
Stretch the
can.
defenses,
And that would
yeah.
allow, likes that with
He's
Maresca.
just a handful, honestly. Like I think of, like, I always think when I talk about strikers, like, if I was a defender, would I like playing against you? Osimhen is probably the last kind of player I'd want to play against because he can run in behind, he can hold it up well, shoulder to shoulder, he'll barge into you. His movement is unpredictable, a crazy threat in the air.
This has gone on and on as well, it does feel like, with him, doesn't it?
Definitely.
That is a bit of a red flag for me. But like maybe it's just because he wants to go and be at those places.
I don't think it's a red flag just because he plays at Napoli and De Laurentiis is the toughest negotiator in football. I think that's the red flag there. Like, how much does it cost to get him away from that guy?
Osimhen wins that one quite easily. Sorry,
easily,
Richarlison.
easily.
I think that's a pretty strong one. I'm going to go Ghost Pepper finish us off?
Yeah, I'll go Trinidad Scorpion.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think we chose that one. So
Huge thank you to Etsy.com. That's
Yep.
Etsy.com, who have provided us with this heat scale when I Googled Scoville scale. Massive thank you to them. Massive thank you to you, Liaz, as well, mate. Loved it. Liaz's channel is in the description. Go and click on that link and then go and check out his channel and click the buttons that you see in front of you. Not the one that's got a thumb down, but the thumb up
thumb up for
and
sure.
the subscribe one. That's a good one. Definitely click that one.